Why are you
Morning,
stepping
Kate.
down?
Well, look, it's been a tough decision to make. I've really weighed up everything. I've thoroughly enjoyed having the responsibility of being the Member of Parliament for Roscoe and Lochaber, looking after my constituents, and of course being the Westminster leader up until last December. But I've taken the decision. The next election is the time to move on. It's about how I can help contribute to the case of Scottish independence. I've been appointed as the First Minister's Business Ambassador. I'll be publishing a green industrial strategy for Scotland over the course of the next few weeks. And I want to make sure that I can use my influence, that we move the economy, that we get the green economy going, that we get jobs and investment in Scotland. So I'll continue to be active, but I'll be doing it in a different way. And yes, of course, I'll have some regrets, I guess, from stepping away from Westminster, but it's the right thing to do to move on to the next chapter.
Is it because your party's crumbling?
No, because I'm as committed as I've ever been to make sure that they finish the job, and I want to be part of that. I want to make sure that I'm supporting Humza Yousaf. I think Humza's going to surprise people as to what he can do as First Minister. He's got a good team around him, good team of ministers, advisors, and I'm very much looking forward to the challenges that we're going to be facing.
You're never going to see independence in your lifetime, though, are you?
I want to make sure that we do. I joined the SNP in 1978. It's been a long time, and I've got this burning desire to make sure that we can change Scotland for the better. I want to grow the economy. I want to see this green revolution, the jobs that we can get, to make sure that we utilise the strength that we've got in our academic sector. We get the start-ups, the spin-outs that come from that, and we give people hope that we can do better.
Yeah, but are you going to see independence in your lifetime?
Yes, I actually firmly believe that we will do, but we need to
as far
show
away as ever at the moment.
Well, yeah, but Kate, what we need to do is to show to the people of Scotland that we're worthy of their trust, and that we've got a vision of a Scotland that will be back in the European Union, that one that puts people at the heart of that. We've got the opportunity to increase our green energy output about fivefold over the course of the next few decades. Let's make sure we get the jobs out of that, and let's make sure that we can show people that there's a better way, there's a better future. I know that we're capable of doing that.
Now, you've certainly made your presence felt in the House of Commons. I don't know if we've got the grab of you when you were in all sorts of trouble with Boris Johnson. Quick look.
Under the power given to me by Standing Order number 43, I order the honourable member to withdraw immediately from the House. From the House.
He's left anyway.
Rivera, it's all right, we don't need to bother.
You called him a liar. You called Boris a liar.
Well, indeed, and I think many people were congratulating me for standing up and saying the things that they all knew to be true. We should never have had Boris Johnson as Prime Minister. I regret that we did. I think he did a lot of damage, and I had that responsibility to use that voice as SNP leader to stand up for people. And, we've got the COVID inquiry coming down the line, the people that have made so many sacrifices. I'm glad that even though I'm standing down, that we've seen off Boris Johnson as Prime Minister over the course of that period. You're
leaving the door open for Labour to take your seat at the next election?
No, look, at the end of the day, it's always up to the voters what they want to do. But, I increased my majority in 2017. I did it again in 2019, the only SNP MP to do that. I trust that the voters in my constituency will come back and support whoever is the SNP candidate in the next election. Look, we've got a job to do to show that we can be trusted. The election's going to be about change. It's about making sure that we've got a response to the cost of living crisis. I know that the SNP under Humza Yousaf will be ready for that challenge next year.
Another challenge they've got before that is Margaret Ferrier. She's been suspended for 30 days for breaching COVID lockdown rules. That's inevitably going to be a by-election before too long, and Labour are definitely chomping at the bit there.
Well, let's wait and see. We'll choose a candidate and we'll be ready for that fight. I'm glad that this episode
Do you acknowledge that Labour could win that seat?
I think what we've got to do is make sure that we set out our case, but why we need to return a hard-working SNP for that constituency. I'm glad that we seem to be facing a by-election. That's right, that is the case. I'm sorry that Margaret's got herself in the position that she is in, but we need to move on. She should have gone as an MP sometime before now, but let's focus on getting that by-election and electing an MP that can represent her constituents.
Do you acknowledge it could go to Labour?
Now, we'll make sure that we fight in this election to make sure that it's an SNP MP returned to represent the people of that constituency.
How will you remember your time as a politician?
Well, I can look back to, I think, most importantly, what I've done for constituents. And, maybe surprisingly for a Highland constituency, issues of migration.
It's been quite a journey for you, hasn't it?
It's been quite a journey.
Physically and literally and figuratively, not least because how long does it take you to get home?
Well, yesterday I left home at 10:30 and, sorry, not yesterday, on Monday I left home at 10:30, got to Westminster at 7:30 at night. It's a long commute, and I've got to do that twice a week. But I knew what I was signing up for, so I've no regrets about that. But Kay, I think one of the things, I had 2 families in the constituency that faced deportation. We managed to stop that, and you'll remember the success that we had in getting the orphans from Ukraine into Scotland last year. So these are probably high points. It's where you can make a difference for people. These are I think the things that count. And
what was the low point?
Actually, funnily enough, when I talk about one of these immigration cases, a family that were living in Scotland that we thought were going to face deportation quite early on, and I think it's difficult not to get involved in that, not to get engaged in that. There are other cases. A lovely woman in the constituency that we managed to help her get a transfer down to hospital in London for a lung transplant and gave her some additional years. I think when you look at these things, these are the points that you remember, where you've used your office to help people, to make a difference for them.